This conference will now be recorded.
All right, welcome everyone to our program on Brainfuse, a fantastic resource that we offer for free from your home and your devices that will help hopefully with distance learning and a whole host of other things that we're dealing with right now. My name is Jessie Bouchel. I am the head of Children's and Parent Services here at the Patchogue-Medford Library. And I truly am excited to show you what this resource has to offer because it's just phenomenal. I really hope that it's going to help you and the students in your life navigate the new waters of distance learning because it was helpful before, but now it's even better. So what I'm going to be showing you tonight, like I said, I call it Brainfuse, but it has so many different names. So it can be called Brainfuse, it could be called Brainfuse Help Now, Homework Help, Online Homework Help, Free Online Tutoring. It all boils down to Brainfuse. So the point of, for the point of consistency, I'm going to be calling it Brainfuse. That's what I know it as. Just so you know, if you see those other terms out there, it's all essentially the same thing. So I'm going to show you how you can access Brainfuse from your devices at home and then all of the helpful educational tools that it offers, including but not limited to live in-person, well, not in-person, live tutoring and a writing lab. So to get started with Brainfuse, you're going to need a valid library card from a Suffolk County library. If you're a member of our district here in Patchogue-Medford, I'm going to quickly walk you through some simple and easy ways that you can get a library card. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen so you can see what we've got going on. So you're just going to go to our home screen here. This is PMLIB.org right at the top up here. And there is going to be on the screen, on the side of here, is going to be a get a library card. Just bear with me. My little screen is in the way. So if we scroll down here, get a card online. It's a really easy and simple process. You can fill out all the information online and you will get a new library card number emailed to you in 2 to 5 business days. Or if you would like one more immediately, you are welcome to come into the library. We are open at any time during our open hours and get a library card right on the spot. So just please make sure to bring your proof of identity and your residence with you. Also, just a quick little note that library cards do expire. People are constantly surprised by that information. They do expire, so if your library card is expired, you'll just need to renew it before you're able to access this resource today. But it's a very easy process. So like I said, you can do it online here, card application, and then you just start to fill out the information, and you'll have one soon enough. All right, so let's go back. So now, in order to access Brainfuse, there are a few different places on our website where you can do that. So right now we have it on the left-hand side of all of our pages. It's called Free Online Tutoring. There's a really fun back to school graphic. You click that, it'll take you right to Brainfuse and you can get started. However, in the future, if you'd like to find it and that fun little graphic isn't there, you can always find it under Online Library. And then here on All Research A to Z, and then it's going to be right under Education. So Brainfuse Help Now. See, that's what I mean. It's like a million different names. So this is what it is. And here we are. So like I said, this is where your library card is going to come in handy. So you need a library card to access the resource. But once you are in there, I highly recommend signing up for a personalized account, and I will explain why in a little bit. But let's get started. So Brainfuse, before we go in, I just want to explain, like, these are some of the features that it offers. So homework help, there's live tutors in pretty much every subject, every grade. It goes all the way up to adults. There is a writing lab, there is file sharing. All of this stuff is within this one free resource that you can do from your home. So let's get started. I'm going to type in my library card number. So I have previously set up an account, so it's going to automatically put me in. See, here's my name. If you don't sign up for an account and assign yourself a password, it will not have this information here. So like I said, I do recommend that you get your own personalized account, because once you do, it has all of your past sessions in here. So when you speak to a live tutor, you're able to go back. They always record, and you can watch them again. So that would be in here. Any emails going back and forth between yourself and tutors, that would be here. Your cloud pack, which is essentially file sharing, that's all in here. And probably most importantly, once you have your own personalized username and password, not just your library card barcode, you're able to also sync it up with the app, which has a really great helpful feature that I will show you. So we're just going to kind of walk through all of the tools on here and all of the features. One thing I do want to say is that Brainfuse has extended their hours to meet the moment of distance learning. So they are now available, tutors are now available every day from 10 a.m. to 11 p.m. It used to be 2 p.m. to 11 p.m. So it's really great that they've listened to the need of our community and so many communities like ours, and they are stepping up to help out. So let's see. So let's talk about live tutoring. I just truly wish this existed when I was in high school. And now things are so different that it's really hard for the grown-ups in students' lives to help them with their work. So the good news is you don't have to do that anymore. There are experts that can do that for you for free from your home. So to talk a little bit about the tutors, because I know I have children, I understand that there's always a concern about safety. There's always a concern about backgrounds and things like that. So I just want to put it out there that Brainfuse does, they vet all of their tutors with a thorough background check and reference checks. They must have a 4-year degree, and they must have prior teaching or tutoring experience. They have to be familiar with U.S. educational standards, just in a general sense, like Common Core. They also need to be familiar with New York State educational standards, like testing, like the Regents testing, things like that. So they need to be up to date, current on all of that in order to be helping teach your child, essentially. So the tutors are also trained and certified by Brainfuse. So there's accountability on all ends to make sure that the student in your life is receiving accurate and proper help. Additionally, you'll see when I open up a chat that the tutors can't see or hear the students that they're helping. All the tutoring is done via Brainfuse Classroom, which is essentially a virtual whiteboard. So it's safe, it's secure, there's no need for a microphone, there's no need for a camera. Don't have to worry about that at all. So let's go into what it looks like. So once you select live tutoring, this is what you will see. And like I mentioned, it's every grade all the way up to college. So I know even starting now, I have a kindergartner that pretty soon I will not be able to help her with her math, which is mind-boggling. So I will be able to come on here and select a tutor in her grade that can kind of help walk us through it. So let's just pick any random. I will pick 6th. And then here are all the subjects in 6th grade that I can ask for help with. So Common Core English, Common Core Math, writing, all of that. So we will just pick one and we will say hello to a tutor. Now, if the student in your life is more comfortable learning and receiving information in Spanish, it's very easy to request a tutor that also speaks Spanish. So that is right here. You just click this, and then you will be requesting a tutor that speaks Spanish. And then also here at the top, right in the top right-hand corner, you'll see the little drop-down box where it says English. If the student in your life or yourself is more comfortable reading the entire site in a different language, they currently have it that you can switch it over to Spanish, French, or just a different dialect of English from Canada. So those are the options for right now. So I'm just going to go ahead and I'm going to click Get Live Help. so you can see what it looks like to chat with a tutor. So again, no cameras, no microphones. All it is a text box that you can see over here on the right-hand side. So we are just going to wait, and there's a tutor. So the tutor says hello. I am also going to say hello. I am a librarian showing off Brainfuse. So that is how the communication takes place between the tutor and the student. It's all through chat. That being said, if you look here where this little pop-up came up and said drawing tools, all of these tools at the bottom allow the student in your life to be able to express the problem that they need help with. So they need to draw shapes and they're doing geometry or algebra, anything like that. They can write. Look, there's even these little subscripts here. All of the options for them to be able to express what they're working on is right on the board and right down here. Also, there is a great feature. I don't know if you remember back 5 minutes ago when I recommended that you get the, when you sign in with your username and password, not just your library card. The main reason for that is because there is a phenomenal part of this where the student in your life can use their phone and take a picture of their textbook through the app and automatically uploads into their session with a live tutor. So then they don't have to spend 15 minutes trying to type out or draw the math equation that they're working on. They can just quickly upload it. So I'm going to do that right now, and I will show you what that looks like. All right, so here we go. So I'm going on my phone and I'm going to open the app. The app is just called Brainfuse. So when you look for it, it's available for iPhones and for Androids. So I'm just going to open it up. And when I do, you can see this, but there is, I don't think it really works so well. It's not really translating, but there is an option once you open it. It says live help. And then the next option down is snap and send. So that's what I'm going to click. And then it will have an option to upload. So when I, oops, sorry, that's not correct. I have to do attach file first. So once I hit attach file, there's the option to either take a picture or choose it from my library. So I'm going to take a picture and take a picture of just my screen here. And then I'm going to use that photo and I'm going to upload it. So you'll notice if you look on my desktop screen, there's my picture. So that just makes the ease of use for the student of your life just off the charts, because most kids, not all kids, but most kids do have access to a smartphone where they can take pictures. So this just makes it so super simple. They don't have to explain themselves over and over, try and get their point across. Here's what I'm looking at. How can you help me? So I find that phenomenal. It's fairly new, so I really like it. Okay. So this tutor, I think, is a little bit confused by what I'm trying to do here, but essentially this is what it is. It's just a chat back and forth. The tutors will stay on with the student in your life for as long as they need. If they, for whatever reason, their shift is up, they will transfer them to another tutor. The student can log on and off as many times as they need to. The main point of Brainfuse is that children learn, not just children, everyone learns differently. So what Brainfuse does is it provides all of these different access points for people to really allow themselves to connect with the information, because maybe for some reason, especially now, it's just not getting through. So this really allows, so maybe if someone learns better this way, now they have that option to kind of reinforce the ideas, reinforce the knowledge. So that is the live tutor. I'm just going to take a pause and see if anybody's out there and if anybody has any questions. I'm going to just quickly get out of this chat here. I don't want to take up this tutor's time. Let me go back into here. All right, I don't see any questions in the chat, so I'm just going to keep plugging along. Hopefully so far so good. So that's live chat. Again, I just truly wish this existed when I was in school, because to be able to log on at 10 o'clock at night when the assignment is due the next day really would have helped me. But hopefully the student in your life is not as big a procrastinator as I was. So the next thing I'd like to show you, this is what it looks like when you're done with a live tutor. And then also, actually, before we move on, I will show you that there is the option to, once you're done, either you can email that transcript. So maybe it's helpful to the student in your life to read the chat back, or maybe it's helpful for them to rewatch it. So if I click replay session, it's going to pop up on my screen and it's going to show me everything I just did, which is mildly embarrassing because it wasn't much. So this is exactly what it looks like. They put the chat at the bottom. If we were doing actual work, that would go up in, real time up top. My picture should be popping up any second now. And that's it. So that's all available in the account. If you go back to my account, it's all in there. Right here on the right-hand side, my account, there it all is. So that would be my past sessions. So that's live help. The next thing, I'm just going to keep plugging along. The next feature I would love to show everyone is the writing lab. So the writing lab does require a little bit more foresight. They require 1 business day to get back to the student, but it's well worth it if you can just think a little bit ahead. So what they do at the writing lab is you submit your work. So now's a good time to talk about how we can save and submit work. In Brainfuse, you can attach documents to either the writing lab or the email or even the live tutoring. You can attach them either from your computer. So if you just have documents, papers on your computer, you can just upload them right from there. From the Cloud Pack, which is the online storage within Brainfuse itself. So that would be, I think, in my account, where you can just upload documents to there. It's all in the Cloud Pack, and you just pick it from there and you go. Or from the whiteboard. So if we had done work on that virtual whiteboard and we had saved it, we can upload it there. So there's just many ways to get your work to Brainfuse and to the expert help there. So I have an example of what it looks like when you submit to the writing lab. This example, admittedly, is a couple years old, so it might look a little bit different, but essentially it's the same information. So I have to say off the bat that to all the parents and grown-ups out there who are watching this, for the students in their lives, the tutors that help with the writing lab do not write your students' papers. When I used to do this in high schools, they would always be super disappointed by that, but the parents are reassured. They are not writing the paper at all. If the student in your life needs help getting started, that's a great thing to do with the live tutor. Here is my prompt. I'm not quite sure how to get going. They can help with that, or that's like an email. The writing lab is for when you have something that you need constructive criticism on. So this is an example of what that will look like. So they start off thanking you for submitting to the Brainfuse Writing Lab, and then they have a response form right at the top. So they break it down. There's your overview. This is just a quick little, I found your summary of the book to be clever and humorous. Then they break down your main idea and your thesis, your introduction and conclusion, the development, the organization. So it really goes through point by point to let the student know not only what they need to work on, but what they're doing right. That way they understand when they get the grade back, why they got the grade they did, whether it be a good one or a bad one. So like I said, so then they also talk about style, grammar usage, and then they break it down even more. So there's a guide because there's just some issues with italics versus question marks. So they even provide the tools to learn more about the mistakes that you made. So it's not just simple criticism without any actual constructive information. So they also go through the paper and make comments within the paper itself. So here, the book title needs to be in italics. This one here, they're saying that this is a cliche. Try to avoid cliches. Down here, there's a plural needed, not a possessive. So like I said, they just kind of break it down and point out, again, what you did right and what you didn't do your best on. So this says like you had good transitional elements. But then down here again, it's avoid conversational phrases, cliches. So it's a nice balance. So that is the writing lab, and just a little personal story and endorsement for the writing lab. I actually used the writing lab when I was applying for this job, and I sent in my cover letter, and they got back to me with really helpful fixes and changes, and I made them, and look at me, I got the job. I'm just saying. So never know, but the writing lab has helped many people, not just myself. So that is the writing lab. Let's get back to Brainfuse. So I'll pause here. Any questions on the writing lab? Chats, questions? All right, that's okay. So the next thing we'll talk about on here, and there is still much on here. So I'm just, like I said, I'm just kind of running through it, but if you have any questions or comments after the fact, there is on our website, the PMLIB.org, the option to chat with a librarian. So please feel free to always use that, or you can always call us and we're happy to help. So the next thing is Skill Surfer. So Skill Surfer, what this is, if you see here on the screen, it has all of this test prep for high school, for college, even nursing school, everything, graduate school. And then down here is elementary, middle school, and high school. So I'm going to open one of these up just to show you what it is. So it's all basically lessons. So let's do grade 4 math. So in here it has all of these practice tests. So just open one up. Let's just see if I want to do Common Core geometry. So again, everybody learns differently. So maybe the live tutor doesn't work for one student, but coming on and taking tests, see what they're getting right, see what they're getting wrong, really does work. So Brainfuse offers that option for students to not only do better in school, but also to get to know themselves and how they learn, which is really valuable. So this is it. So that's practice tests. Then there are, just to break things down, so if you're learning about counting money and making change, here's just another quick little lesson on how that works. So I know that when it comes to doing math with my daughter, I am going to be frazzled and not quite know how to explain myself and not understand why she's just not getting it. So I am so happy to know that this can fill the gaps in for my obviously limited teaching experience. So I just can turn to here and let the experts teach her. And maybe this will make more sense to her than mommy just saying, see like this, do it like this. Doesn't mean anything to her. So that's here. That's Skill Surfer. We can look at one more just to kind of get an idea of the scope of it. It just really truly covers so many topics. So if I was in grade 6 science and I was learning about cells, let's see, and I just can't wrap my head around what cells are. Here we go. What components make up a cell, cell structures, it's just all right here. And then if I really wanted to, I could go back and there are life science prep packs. So let's go back into cells. This is saying you're leaving Brainfuse. Occasionally that happens, but what I've noticed is it takes you to these cards. So they're just flashcards that you just flip over and then you mark it if you knew it or you didn't know it, and it helps you study. So cool. I don't know any of these. All right, so let's go back. So that is Skill Surfer. It just helps students assess where they're at, you know, and like I said, maybe it just explains it in a different way. And teachers are really doing their best and they're doing a fantastic job, but they're super busy. So here's another avenue for students to come to when they just need that extra explanation. Just right here. So that's Skill Surfer. Sending a question is pretty self-explanatory. If it's after 11 o'clock in the morning, or maybe it's before 10 o'clock in the morning, I'm sorry, after 11 o'clock at night and before 10 o'clock in the morning, and there's a question, or if it's just something that they don't need an answer to right away, there's not a problem to email an expert. So just select your grade, the subject, enter your question, attach a document if possible, and submit it. So the thing with this is that this is another reason why you need that personalized account with a username and a password, because your results, excuse me, are going to come to Brainfuse. It's going to go to your message center. So if there's no account set up, it won't go anywhere. So essentially that's why. The next one is Language Lab. So I know that Patchogue-Medford School District has a dual language program. So this would be really helpful for any student learning that. So they could come on here, select their language, and Brainfuse is just growing and growing and growing. When I first was introduced to this resource, it only offered Spanish. So now there is French, now there's Italian. So you could just select your subject, pick your language, and live help. There's also a vocabulary builder. So again, if typing and interacting with a tutor that way is not how the student really connects with the information, there's the option for a vocabulary builder. So they have games, quizzes, flashcards, and spoken pronunciations, which is crucial when learning a new language, which I am highly aware of because I am trying to learn Spanish myself. So pronunciation is everything. So if you came on here, you pick one. So I'm going to do basics, and then here's fruit.
La mora.
La mora. There you go. So it's all right in here. And if I wanted to do flashcards, if I wanted to do multiple choice. Ooh. I don't know this one. I'm going to go with watermelon. Hey, I did it. I'm not there yet. I'm not up to La Pera. So that's the language learning part of Brainfuse. I apologize because I feel like I'm going very fast, but it's hard to kind of tell. So if I am, I really do apologize. Let's get back here. Okay. So that was the language lab. For those of you that have high school juniors, seniors, and you're getting around that time where you have to figure out that FAFSA, good luck. I'm just kidding. It's just a complicated, well, not that complicated, but it's complicated enough where most parents or guardians need a little bit of help. So just so you know, a little sidebar, when you need that help, Brainfuse now has a featured service for FAFSA Live Help. It's just really such a great thing. All right, so the LEAP learning platform, just to kind of go through that. So this is a diagnostic test center for those students that are in high school, a little bit older, and they're getting ready for those really big tests in their life, SAT, ACT, college readiness, all those things, GED. What they can do, and what this is, I think this is really great, honestly, is that they learn, it helps them build their skills through a lesson plan that is created for them. So what they do is they take a test and then they go through, and then what this will do is whatever they didn't do well on, it creates a plan for them to study up on it. So it's not just taking the same test over and over and over, it actually is adapting to the student to help them get expert assistance, you know, for what they really need help with, not just learning the same things. So that's LEAP. Flashbulb. So don't tell anybody, but Flashbulb is not my favorite part of Brainfuse. Don't tell anyone. It's just you and me. So Flashbulb can be really great for certain students that learn this way. I used to love a good flashcard. However, there's caveats to that. So students can come on here and they can create their own flashcards. Great. They can also go through and look for flashcards that have already been created. Now, this is where it can be a little tricky. So any flashcard set, any flashbulb that's created is added to this database of sets here. So while that's great, because now there's a lengthy list here, not all of them are vetted. So like anything on the internet, you have to check the information that you're taking in to make sure it's accurate before you devote a lot of time to it. So you'll notice here that Brainfuse does make the attempt to get through all of the flashbulb sets and put a check mark next to them. So what that means is that they went through it and they found that the information in there was correct. So you'll notice in math, there's a decent amount, but there's more without the check mark. So it's just something for the student in your life to be aware of. Also, I have done this with students in person, and we'll go through some, and the flashcards are tailor-made for the student who created them. So sometimes they don't even make sense to someone else. So it's just something to be aware of when using this feature of Brainfuse. By all means use it if it's helpful, but I would stick to the ones with the check box, with the check marks here, or create your own. Just because don't want to be like memorizing information that's not accurate. So that is Flashbulb. So this is really fun, says the librarian. This is fun, but e-parachute. I'm not sure how many of you out there remember the book, What Color is Your Parachute? But I do. And I remember reading it and going, okay. So now it's online and it's like a really long, involved BuzzFeed quiz, if that means anything to anyone. So it basically matches your skills and your interests with possible careers. So I know that when I was even in college, I still didn't really have a good, clear vision of what I could do that would be fulfilling to me. So I wish that this existed. We won't go through it too much, but it's fun. Yeah, just kind of works through it. If you know anybody that's kind of struggling to find their way, it might be a good place to start. So the next thing, I'm going to stop and ask if anyone has questions, comments. Okay, we'll keep going. Just really plowing right through it. Okay, so the next thing is the feature called Meet. So now that things are so, everything is remote, Meet has really I was going to make a bad pun. Say it's met the moment, it's meeting the moment. I don't know. This is what happens when you leave me to my own devices, folks. Terrible puns. So anyway, meet is a safe and secure way for students to get together and meet in a virtual classroom is what they call it. So it's that whiteboard. So they get to meet, they're in there, they can chat, they can use the whiteboard. I'm pretty sure they can even record it. So all they would need is email addresses. Not everybody needs to have a Brainfuse account. So only one person needs to have the Brainfuse account, and that's the person that's setting up the meet. So they would invite all the participants using their email addresses. Again, they don't all need Brainfuse accounts. They would pick a date, a time, how long, when it ends, and then a description of the meeting, and they send off the invitation. And then, like I said, they can just meet in their own virtual classroom, is what Brainfuse calls it. And then for the last one is Brainwave. So Brainwave is kind of along the lines of Flashbulb in that there is a library of pre-created brainwaves. So people have come on here and created their own brainwaves, and you can access them and you can watch them, but they are very relevant to the student that created them. So again, like everything on the internet, just vet the information. Oh, I'm typing student. So let's type in civil rights. And see here, like this is geometry. It does have ratings for what they're worth. You can go by the views. I'm not sure. Oh, I typed right. That's why it's like right angles. So this is the one that I usually look at, but it is kind of old, just so you know. So this is what a brainwave looks like. And again, I don't want to sound like a broken record. Everybody learns differently. So I know for me personally, I learn by doing. So I learn by reading something and taking the notes. Writing it down for me really helps cement the information in my brain. So maybe for a student in your life, this might help them to get the information out, to see it on the screen, and then to rewatch it. So this is just someone using that virtual whiteboard to create a chart with information, and then they have it, you know, to watch when they need it. And maybe it's just a way that helps them process information. So like I said, that's the main point of Brainfuse, is that however you learn, they can help you. You know, so let's see, let's get back here. So that's it really. I mean, there is adult learner information here. So if you know anyone in your life that is trying to prepare for the citizenship test, or taking a high school equivalency test, or needs to create a resume or look for a job, I know a lot of people right now are struggling. So this is a really great free resource for the adults in your life that also might need a little bit of help, because we all could use it, you know, and all you need is a library card. Okay, so that is Brainfuse, my friends. Questions, comments, concerns? Okay, well, thank you for sticking with it, and I hope I didn't go too fast, and it's hard to kind of gauge, but again, if you go to PMLIB.org, I'll just type it in here, you can see it one more time. You'll see a second right down here, it says let's chat. You could just pop right in here, type a reply, type your question or your comments. This really great librarian did a thing about Brainfuse. How do I find that again? Just saying, it's right there. You could also call us, and we're happy to help. So if there's no anything, I am going to say thank you one more time and wish everybody who is in school and teaching, learning, just in the general vicinity of anyone having to deal with remote learning or homeschooling, the best of luck. Stay as positive as you can, stay safe, and thank you. Have a great day.